Here y'all, this is a little bit different. I'm getting ready for my aunt's 60th birthday. And I'm going to talk about some of the trending events that's going down. Hey y'all, get ready with me while I talk about some of these trending topics that y'all have been eating up here on TikTok. But also kind of like expand upon it, because I think that the part that we don't talk about when we are looking at influencers, whether they're going through a really big high or a really big low, and people are critiquing, criticizing, hating, whatever you want to call it, I think the part that we don't ever bring up is the inherent nature of influencers to kind of like adopt a little bit of an inflated ego as it pertains to believing themselves to be an expert or have a certain level of expertise in all of their lives if they're showing their lives, specifically if they are lifestyle creators. I'm not going to mention the name of the young woman that y'all have been dragging because plenty of people have already, you know, created as much content as they could for clouts. For me, it's not necessarily about riding that particular wave. I happen to be a woman who is in that young lady's audience and have been in that young lady's audience for years now. I would love to say since the beginning, but I don't want to like. I might not be right with that. I recall tens of thousands of followers and subscribers, not hundreds, definitely not millions when I first found her. Um, And yes, there is a conversation to be had about um, male centeredness, which honestly we do need to have a little bit more grace for, um, simply because that's the way our damn society is built. Like, hey, Angela. Child, I don't even remember where I was at. For YouTube, I am recording my Get Ready with Me specifically for TikTok, but I will check here for questions and whatnot if you have them. I'm hanging in there, Angela. Cole is still having certain symptoms that's stressing me out, but it's only been 2 days, so it's a part of it. Um, I don't recall. Um, our society is built for women to live very male centered lives. So when we see it happening, it's like that is functioning as normal. I relate it a lot to, people saying that the system is failing us. It's like, no, the system, and that means like black people, like switching topics real quick. The system is not failing us. It's working exactly how it's supposed to. It was never supposed to support, uplift us, and create a space for true equality and for us to really prosper. Um, who are operating outside of the societal conditioning of like centering men and focusing on men and like constantly chasing a man, those are like not the norm. They're not supposed to be. We get shamed for it. So that's one thing that I want to say before I like jump into my thoughts around this whole conversation. It is 100% normal, specifically in the U.S. I can't speak on everywhere else because I don't live there. I don't know what y'all got going on. But it is 100% normal to live a male identified life as a woman in America. It's actually expected of you. So there's that. But women who have done the work have started to unpack these patriarchal ideals. Also, patriarchal ideals come hand in hand with white supremacy. So, like, let's keep that in mind as well. And who are opting out and who can readily identify when certain behaviors, when certain mindsets are steeped in that male centeredness. Again, I don't believe are the norm, and I would call myself that. I struggle a lot with identifying with women who are still very male centered because it frustrates me because I have done certain work to unpack it and to release expectations tied to men in reference to any type of achievement in my life. And like, um, I've allowed myself to create a space of true happiness and appreciation of my talents, my gifts, my personhood, simply because I exist in the way I exist and not because I'm attached to some man, right? So when I'm seeing it happen with other women, and I'm not saying that this woman that y'all are dragging is doing this, but when I do see it, it's a little bit harder for me because I'm a person who's already done the work, and I'm just like, girl, like your happiness, your joy is on the other side of you actually realizing how incredible you are, how determined you are, how beautiful you are, how you are outside of this nigga. Like, I promise you, this he's not the best thing going for you, and he won't be the best thing going for you. Like, they never will be, and that's not a dig at men. Like, we can have a whole other conversation about men and appreciate men and yada 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 yada. This is not that. So, man, if you come across this, not too much, not too much. Um, Cindy Noir has a really great series going on now where she's like talking to men and like asking for clarity around specific things in reference to how y'all show up and all that. So like go over there and talk to her with that. This right here is for the women. Um, but going back to my main point, I'm kind of all over the place. So hopefully y'all follow me and 2 times speed this because clearly I'm very verbose. Um, Women, specifically women influencers, black women influencers, someone like the woman who's currently on the in the firing pit or whatever, um, they have to operate with influencers, period, have to operate with a certain level of like, I know this thing and you should listen to me because I know. And I've amassed this amount of followers, I've amassed this amount of subscribers, I have amassed this amount of notoriety, I have amassed this amount of brand attention because I know, because you should listen to me. So it's that inherent thing there. But then when you pair it with the very real lived experience of pursuing love or pursuing romance or pursuing partnership, but you are using that as a tent pole for some of your content, you inherently start to package what could be a discovery journey, an exploration journey in love and finding yourself and learning certain things that we all have to learn, right? Um, Into a package of like, I'm doing this because I know, or I'm doing this because this was told to, like, I just know, I just know, I just know. And it's like, child, no, you have no idea. And I think for me, being a person who is in that young lady's audience, who has been, who actually cares about this young lady, yes, parasocial relationships are real. Um, that is the thing that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. I don't care about the lying. I care about the approach of it from a place of like, you know, that you're doing things the right way, or the way that others should do it, or you should be an example. And that part is not necessarily a thing that's specified by the creator, but it becomes a part of the packaging because the creator has large influence and they have to operate from a place of having large influence. What else am I trying to do? I feel like I'm getting so distracted because I'm talking, but this eye look is not working for me. Hold on, let me fix this makeup real quick because I for real gotta go somewhere. I don't have all of my warm it up. So it's a little extra smoky for my liking. I'm like, oh girl, what you got going on there? Okay. All right, back to the male centeredness. Now that we have understood that it's, hi guys. Um, all right, back to the male centeredness. I struggle with understanding, and that doesn't mean that it can't be understood. It's just my shortcomings, my blind spots, my area of opportunity. I struggle with understanding um women who still hold the acquiring of a man, specifically for heterosexual relationships. I can't speak for the queer folks. I do not know. Um, Women who raise acquiring a man, being in romantic relations with a man at like the top pinnacle of achievements in their lives. Like, I don't I don't want that to come across judgy or like shamey, but I like literally do not understand it at all. One, because it's something that's completely outside of your control. Like, you can look as good as you want to look. You can be an incredibly sweet person. You can present and perform docile femininity in public, right? And that still does not mean that you're gonna get chose. Um, and the thing, okay, what I will say, the thing I do understand is like how you get programmed for it. Like, going back and like a quick little side story, right? I recognize within my mother's side of my family, because I'm not really close to my dad's side of the family like that. Um, the full family, like my dad, my sisters, yes, but his like extended family, I don't fully know in a way that I would love. And I grew up with my mom's side of the family. My mom's side of the family, 110%. Child, when I tell you they coddled the man, they coddled the man, they babied the man. The man could do no wrong because the man got a penis. The man is the man, honey. And I watched it play out both in my mom's generation, her being the only daughter, and in my generation, where there's a few other girls, but of the cousins, I would say in like academic and athletic achievement, I have achieved a lot. Um, and I always got the shittiest end of the stick. My family made a practice of like, for just as an example, everybody's birthday, the birthday person gets to pick a restaurant and everybody would show up. And that is how we would celebrate people's birthdays in our family. And you could go wherever you wanted to go. Something that I will never forget. I have already forgiven, but I will never forget is how many people would not show for my birthday every year consistently. It didn't matter if I had straight A's and B's. It didn't matter if my basketball, volleyball, tennis team had just won a championship. It didn't like these. All of these things are happening. It didn't matter if I had got multiple athletic scholarships offers. It did not matter. In addition to my birthday happening, what I have achieved or what I have done, because I had done a ton of things young. I would be spending my birthday was always the sparsest, and I feel like I was definitely the least celebrated within my family at my generation, while accomplishing subjectively the most. When I look at my mom's generation, she also was the least celebrated, but the most relied upon. She's the one that got to show up and help everybody. She's the one that got to do all of the things. Um, and I think that that is the way, one of the ways in which the patriarchy shows up within the black household or the black family structure. Um, the men in our family, if they got into things, they had help. They had people who are readily available to like help them figure it out, help them get out of whatever they had gotten themselves into. And it also was done to a certain extent without a lot of fuss, almost as if it was like an expectation that this would happen. So we already know what to do. We're going to show up. If that's to happen for a woman, like a woman in our family to get into something, and I'm just going to use myself and my mom as an example. If you get help, they going to let your ass hear it. You are never going to live that down. You you need help. You da 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 da. Why would you make that decision? How could you be so stupid? How could you be so silly? All of the things. So, in theory, I really do get how male centeredness shows up. What I don't get is women of a certain age, or at least as you get older, I don't get how women keep that particular perspective and keep that association of achievement where everything else that you do in your life almost is null and void if you're not doing it alongside a man. That part, I just, child, I don't know if it'll ever be in my ministry to fully understand. And I'm okay with that. I realize that there are plenty of things in life that I will just never know. I won't have the answers to, and that is okay. I don't actually need to. Um, but going back to the young lady who everybody on TikTok is dragging, I think that there is some male centeredness within her content, but the correlation that people are making to that being tied to her spiritual journey is 100% false. Her daddy is a damn pastor. Her content has always included her spirituality and like little notes and nuggets and touching on her walk with God. I One of the things that I thought was so interesting was the fact that she was a dark skinned black girl showing up online, very visible online because she's a gorgeous girl, and her daddy is a pastor. But her daddy just seemed so her dad, her mom seemed so open to her exploring and figuring life out. Like they did not seem like judgy church people. Because while her daddy's a pastor, while her daddy is dropping words of wisdom and giving a scripture in every video, because she used to live with them and they would come in and give a little segment, they also was allowing her to dress how she wanted to dress and like be who she is or figure out who she is. And that is all a part of the journey of a young person, like in your teens going into your early 20s. I thought that was absolutely fascinating and dope. like not in a like weird fascinating way, but like a dope fascinating way. So that has always been the case. However, I do realize that this person has had some male centered ideals, because a lot of her content very, very early on always talked about how she desperately wanted to be a wife, and specifically how she saw herself being a NBA wife specifically. And that part has always like rubbed me like, girl, you're 20, girl, you're 21, girl, you're 22. Like, but also that's her journey. That's for her to figure out. So I'm in the audience like, well, okay, girl, I hear you, but like, you don't need to rush. You don't need to da 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 da. And I can say that to myself, not trying to drag this woman online about this, but that particular tinge has always been there. And because so many of the people who are speaking on her right now don't actually follow her, don't actually watch her content, all of them are missing that particular part where there's actually some type of credibility to the male centeredness in reference to parts of her content. They're hyper focused fixated on this last video, this last confession, when that is not even the biggest point to that, and that is not even actually helpful. So I just thought I would add that in there. And that brings me to, back to the desire to have a man, and like that be the tent pole for like greatest achievement, specifically with Black women. I struggle with that so much, because this is a young, bright woman, and she talks about how she dropped out of college, and she's been able to find success online as an influencer, as a creator in the fashion space. She has always loved fashion, been a fashion girly, right? Um, she has found success here, but ultimately the thing that she has been wanting is partnership, is marriage. And I get wanting to be married, but I don't get not registering all the other stuff that you have overcome, everything else that you have been able to surmount in lieu of that. Because I feel like that is going to come in due time, especially because she's just so young. Now, don't get me wrong, it don't come sometimes, because some of y'all men is tripping. But I feel like that will come. This is so hard. I do not know how people do get ready with me and like do their makeup and talk, because like I feel like I can't do either one of these well because I'm hyper fixated on the other. Child, who knows how this is actually gonna turn out and look. Freaking paper towel and absorb so much of it. Hopefully I got enough to edit together, because I don't know. I don't know if any of this actually even makes any damn sense. Okay, back to what I was saying. Male centeredness. I get how it can be jarring. Like, I definitely think that people right now are currently dragging it and dragging this young lady to places untoward and unnecessary. But also, again, I feel like they're doing that because they don't actually care about her as a creator, because she is trending right now and it is bringing them additional views. All of their little hot takes is bringing them additional views. What I would love to enter into the conversation, if we're going to continue to have it, is like, how do we move forward and we point out certain things as it pertains to our female friends, our women friends, women loved ones, when we see certain behaviors such as male centeredness being displayed. How do you point it out without coming across like a hater? How do you point it out without coming across as if you're simply just judging them? How do you address it and move forward? Um, for me, being a person who, like I said, has actually been in this young lady's audience, it's not something that I'm going to comment on a creator's page, because I also feel like so much of this is just your life journey. And if that's where you're at, that's where you're at. I don't think I have ever been at the level in which I've seen some people, not even specifically her, but I've done dumb stuff for a man. um, I think most women have. Like, let's keep it a bean. Like, most of us have. We have fallen in love with some little peasy headed boy and then done whatever we could to keep said peasy headed boy around. That is normal. Um, but how do we see that happening, identify it, and address it with the people that we care about, in order to hopefully like curb that journey, curb that experience, help them avoid as much as possible the hurt, the pain, the disappointment that comes from this particular choice that society deems normal for women, because they don't prioritize women. Again, I think the conversation of male centeredness is a very real one. I do think that this creator has displayed it, but not in the ways that people have been pointing out. And I'm excited to continue to see her journey through it, even though I do feel like this moment of hate and speculation and criticism might curb the lesson that she could potentially learn in full, because it has become a them versus the world, them versus the internet, versus them versus um, particular problematic mindsets, and not problematic mindset for us, but problematic mindset for her, in women in general, not specifically for her, in adopting a male centeredness, in adopting um, a hierarchy where you place the love, affection, the partnership, the companionship of another above everything else that you could possibly accomplish, achieve, do in your life. That there is a problematic nature to that, just inherently. And I think that this moment could become a distraction from that, because it becomes her having to defend herself to the world, versus what it should be of her having to have a conversation and not defend her actions to herself, with herself, but sitting in any shame, any guilt, um, and all the accountability that comes from the decisions made, you know? I personally, like, I am glad that it blew up like this, but I hate that it blew up like I'm glad it blew up like this because it gave her additional metrics, like things that she can use to continue to grow as a content creator. But I hate that it blew up like this because so many people, again, are just not in her audience and don't give a damn about her, and are speaking as if they do. And it's like, it's so clear you're full of shit. There's one creator who I actually respected, created a video about her and was like, well, what did we expect, because she let a lash tech wrap her Lexus. It's like, bro, she has a Mercedes. And the person wasn't saying it to be funny. Like, they had done 2 seconds of research, because this girl's trending. It's like, all right, let's go to town. And I'm like, ugh, that's the part that I hate about TikTok. TikTok can be a beautiful thing, but it could also be the worst. Trying to do my makeup in this random ass lighting. And I also haven't done my makeup in so long. Has been rough. What I definitely will speak on in other videos is how this male centeredness is pushed on women. I gave the example of like within my family, but um, it's so rampant in our media. Oh my god, it's like everywhere, and because I think we're all used to it, nobody is calling it out. But like now, I'm about to start calling it out. Being a person who critiques television and film and like has gotten ridiculous amounts of backlash when I point out women who are male centered in like characters, y'all. I point out characters and people are like losing it. And it's like clearly because you identify with this person and you are just as problematic as this person. People are losing it because I call out characters, fictional characters in these fictional ass worlds. And it's again because they identify so heavily with whomever, whatever, and it sucks. Like, where is the commission for like deprogramming women? Where do I sign up? Because I feel like that is my mission in life. My mission in life is to help other women see their value, their inherent value. Yes, have really beautiful, great families. Like, you can want all of that, but like, start with you and don't feel less than because it's just you. Most of us women are the damn table. That's the part that we want to be humble and not say. Most of us women are the goddamn table. And we need to start acting like it. I do not know if I brought lashes, so I need to figure that out. My lashes are so short. I have quite literally not put on makeup in so long. What's the eye pencil of a pencil? What's the real pencil? It's so hard. Oh, here we go. I have double line lips, so I always shy away from lip liner, but this I guess will be it's time for me to learn. So I have notes because I don't. it comes to set men in question, like the one I just had to block. They are quite literally not the prize. They are a damn liability. My God. I'll be right back, y'all. right. I do not even know if I'm gonna wind up using that TikTok video, but we made it. So there's that. I'm trying to do better with showing up online across other platforms. The part that people don't tell you about if you're seeking anything, any type of platform, audience, or whatever online, is like, it's like people know, but it's not really talked about enough of just how idiotic people can be. I was just thinking about the fact that every single day that I get on here specifically, this doesn't happen on my main channel, which is interesting. Probably because I have my audience dialed in. I don't know. I have no idea why this is the case because I am the same person here as I am over there. But every single time I log on and I do these lives, it also could be just the vertical nature, maybe because they're pushing this type of content across the world, and the world inherently is anti-black. Yes, I'm speaking to y'all, Germany, India, various places. I have had people pop in from various places, and it never fails that every single day, I've been doing these lives every day for the last 101 days. Every single day, people have gotten on here and been disrespectful and have misgendered me and just been tried to be very hurtful. But like, I don't know y'all, and your opinion don't matter. And clearly, you're a clown. So why would I care? But it takes a certain level of mental toughness. It takes a certain level of fortitude. It takes a certain level of knowing thyself. It takes a certain level of self-confidence to be able to navigate in spaces where you're inherently going to be disrespected. It's purposeful, it's strategic, it's ooh, it almost is like a covenant of the platform. People don't speak enough about that. Every single day I am blocking people here because they are misgendering me, because they are calling me ugly, because they are doing the things that they deem that they want to do. And I don't think we talk about it enough. I don't think that we shame people enough. And I look forward to the day where the internet can operate with less anonymity so that people can be held accountable for the shitty lives that they live online and the shitty people that they are online. Because enough is enough. Anyway, I gotta go. This is the look. Talk to y'all tomorrow.